Hola and bienvenidos. Welcome to my channel. I am the Pescatarian Gardener and I'm in Zone 9A. So today's video is Hydroponics 101. We're going to be talking about hydroponics from beginning to end. And I'm even going to show you how to set up a hydroponic system for those of you that may not know. So first of all, what is hydroponic? Well, when I think of hydroponic system, I think of a system such as this one that is used to grow plants and or flowers using water. Yes, water and only water, no soil. And of course, you need a nutrient that you'll put in there. So I got my notes here because guys, you know, sometimes you just cannot remember everything. So here's some reasons why you should be growing hydroponically. 1, fresh food. We all know that what you get from the store is not always the freshest. There are times when you may buy a pack of lettuce. It could be mixed, or it could just be straight romaine or what have you, iceberg, and you get it home and you open up and lo and behold, you see that it's not 100% good. There's some leaves you got to tear up and put in the trash. Well, that doesn't happen with the hydroponic because you control what you're growing. So, fresh food. 2, suppose you live in a short growing season and you have very little time to grow outside. You can grow inside. And guess what? Even if you have a long growing season like I do, you can still grow inside. Now, what I do with my systems is I have certain systems that I grow in all year round. Certain things I just like to eat all year round, such as my lettuces, my spinach, my tomatoes, things like that. But when it's time to get ready for fall/winter gardening, I have some systems that I use to start those seedlings inside so that they can be ready to go outside as soon as possible for early harvest. And vice versa for the summer. In around December, late November, I'm growing things that are gonna go out for the spring and summer. So you can use your hydroponic system all year round. You can grow all year round. You control it. The next thing is, what if you don't have the space? Not everybody has a backyard. Not everybody has a porch or a balcony that they can use. So you can do it in your house. And let me show you, just so you'll know how much space you'll need. Let's look at this system. This system is, yep, a foot. And let's see how wide it is. Look at that. 9 inches, 12 by 9. Guys, and this has got 12 pods, which means if you wanted to, you could have all 12 pods growing something. So that's another reason why you should grow hydroponically, because you can grow it indoor. And who doesn't have 12 by 9 inches someplace to put a hydroponic system? You can find that you can put it on a coffee table, you can put it on your nightside table, you can put it anywhere. For that size, you can find a spot. So if you don't have a spot outside, you can definitely find a spot inside. Next, I thought about this because not everybody has access to a backyard. They may have a backyard, but they may not be able to get in the backyard as easy as they want it. Maybe they're elderly, maybe they're disabled, or maybe they just cannot get out there because the path is somehow blocked or what have you. They can grow indoors. Maybe growing outside is too much for them physically, it's too straining. You can grow indoors. So that's another reason. Overall, there are many reasons, but one reason I love is that it brings about peace. Gardening is something that is very peaceful. After a long day, stressful, anxious day, you come home and you have your beautiful hydroponic system there that will bring you peace. Another reason is usually when you grow in a hydroponic, things tend to grow a little bit faster. You might be wondering why. Well, in my experience, so If it's not in your experience, don't come at me. I'm saying in my experience. I find that in the hydroponic, it grows faster. And I believe it's because you're putting the nutrients right there in the water and boom, easy access. So that's what I think. I just find in my personal experience, things go faster. Next, no weeding. There are no weeds that you have to worry about. That is a huge plus for me because there are tons of weeds. I get a lot of weeds from trees that are not in my yard that blow things, little seeds, little debris, little whatever, into my yard. So I'm constantly thinking, I gotta get out there and weed. I gotta out there and clean. So that's a plus. That's a big plus for me. And the next thing is fewer pests and disease. Experienced gardeners probably can attest to this. There have been many times where you go out in morning or afternoon, whenever you go in your garden, and you go to check, let's say for example, your tomato plants, only to find out, boom, a tomato hornworm has chewed up, eaten up your almost whole plant. You have nothing left except the stem. No tomato hornworms inside. Now, you may get some gnats, but that is controllable, and there's a way to combat that. But a tomato hornworm, not gonna happen. So guys, those are some reasons to grow hydroponically. Now, how do you do it? Well, guess what? I got a system right here. This system here is a system I won in a contest, the WIG 2025, and I won this system and I absolutely love it. So I purchased one just to show you how to do it. So, and I always say this, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, but this is it. Mufka? That's it. So that's the instruction booklet, and it tells you how to do it. So let me move the tape measure over here. Let me move my notes away, and let me show you the system. Let me bring y'all down just a little bit. This is the system. I removed all the packing and everything already, but it does come nicely packed and secure. There's no shifting in there, so that's good. And this is the system. This is the top of the system right there. Okay, and at the top, that's your power button. You would select whether you're growing fruits and flowers or veggies, or and then it has the pump. This, guys, is the light. Let me turn it around for you. This is the light. And the light goes up. Now, when you are first starting your hydroponic system, the first thing you want to think about is, what size do I want? As I said, this has 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 pods. And each pod is like a flower pot, guys. You will put a basket in there, which I'll show you in a minute, with the sponge, which I'll also show you, and you'll put that in there, and that is what you'll grow in. But the first thing you need to do is decide what size you want and your budget. And this is another plus. This particular system costs $39. It was on sale, which is really a good price. And think about it. You don't have to buy soil. You buy your sponges, your nutrients, your seeds, and boom, you're good to go. So when this comes inside, you get sponges. I'm gonna open this up so you can see it. Uh-oh. Oh no, I got it. These are your sponges. This is your growing medium. These are the baskets. This is what you put the sponge in. See? It's a basket. You will take the sponge and put it in there. But this sponge, if you look, it's very dry. So you've got to have those sponges wet. And they usually will send you with a few. So I've got another bag of baskets and sponges. And look at this. This is like to trellis. If, for example, you grow something like, let's say butterfly pea or string beans or green beans or tomatoes or something that's going to grow high and tall, you're going to need to trellis. In this box, I believe that's the pump. Yep, this is the pump. Hydroponic systems pump water, so the water isn't still and does not get stagnant. It pumps the water in certain intervals. And this is very easy, so don't be intimidated when you realize you have to set this pump up, because it is extremely easy. I'm going to show you how. I'm just taking the little this cord off right here. You see, just taking it off, and that's just holding the wire together, the cord together. And so we're going to take that apart, and they've got it good. Like I said, they pack everything really well. They make sure it doesn't come apart, and so that's good. See, this is what I was taking off. And we'll just put this on this side and throw the box in there. And this box here, guys, is the nutrients. This is what feeds your plants. So they have an A and they have a B. You will fill this with water. Now, they suggest distilled water, and because I have 5 hydroponic systems of various sizes, I have a distiller. I make my own distilled water. And it's a process, doesn't take long, but it is a process. And I always make sure that I have some on hand, pour it in empty bottles, and boom, you have it. So that's the kind of water that you're gonna put in your hydroponic system. Now, I'm gonna show you where the pump will go, and I'm gonna show you some other features with this system, okay? I goofed, guys. I made a mistake. I have so many systems and so many different systems that I completely forgot. This particular one, you don't have to install the pump. This was the cord. It is run by electricity. So you take this cord and you plug it in, and boom, it cuts it on. So that's what I want to show you. Here is the pump here, so it's already installed. But I have machine systems that this part is not in there already, and you simply take it out of the box and you have to slide it in. This is like a little filter. Turn this around so you can see, and it just slits right in there, and boom. Simple as that. As far as the electric cord, so easy. Super easy. You see this hole there? That is where you're going to stick the cord. So you just take it and put it right in there. Boom. But do not plug your system up. Do not plug it in and turn it on until you have water in your system. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to pour the water in the system, and then I'm going to show you how to do everything else. Time to add the water. So we just add the water. And there is an indicator on your system. You'll look on your system and it will tell you how much water you have. Let me show you where this one is. Okay, you see there? It tells you where your water is. This side, it tells you how much. You see? 4.5 liters, 3.5, 2.5, and where is it at? The water there is just above 3.5. So we want to put it to 5.5 to start with. I always start my systems with the highest level. All right, so we're going to add some more. And we're going to make sure we're right where we need to be. I check, and boom. And it will also tell you where it should not go past. It's good to follow that direction very closely. You don't want to put too much water in there. So now we're going to put the tray on. And there's a little slot right here. You see that? That's where this is going to go. See how nicely that fit in there? And boom. Simple as that. So now we have to put our trays in, our baskets. These are the baskets. Now, although there are 12 pods or spaces, this is not a space. Just here and here and here and here. This is where you will add additional water. As the days go by, the water level will go down because the sponges will absorb the water and that level will go down. When you have plants in here, they will absorb that water and you'll have to add the water. So this is where you will add your water. You don't have to pick this up or do anything. Very simple. You just go ahead and put that there. And there is a little plug that fits nicely there. See? Just pick it up, add your water, and boom. So, as I was saying, even though there are 12 baskets, you may decide you don't want to grow in all 12 baskets, and that's fine. Some people will tell you that you shouldn't grow in all of the baskets, and that's their prerogative. You may decide it's okay. People have different reasons for growing different things. Sometimes if I'm using a system and I know I'm growing something larger, I might decide to grow something here and something here, something here and something here. Let me take this one out. And then something here and something there. So I'll have 6, and you see each one has an empty basket. That gives it space to bush out and grow up. That is typically how I do it. So for that purpose, I'm going to show that to you right there. So now we have the sponges. And you can put your sponges in directly like this and let them soak up the water. Or you can choose to pre-moisten your sponges. If you decide to pre-moisten it, that's fine. If you decide to put it in the system and let it soak up the water on its own, that's fine. Either way, it's fine. So now that is done. Special note, I just want to mention, some systems give you these covers which will fit over the holes like so. This particular system does not have them with them. There have been times, because I have many systems and not all have the covers, I will just take one of these, and I'll tell you what this is in a moment, and just turn it upside down. Simple as that. Now, these little covers here are designed to help bring moisture up into the top of the basket. So we just put that on top. But there's another step that we have to do. It is somewhat backwards the way I showed you, but that only happened because I wanted you to see that in the empty pods, you can put something there. Either you can use these lids like I have, or you can use this, or come up with your own way of covering over an empty area that is not being used. If you have something that's small, sometimes I have something that's small, and so I will not alternate it at that first row, or vice versa. Maybe I'll do the back row. It just depends. It just depends what it is that you are growing. So now that you've got that there, there's another step you need to take. You see these? These are little stickers. And what you do with this sticker is you peel it off. You don't need this part. You don't need this part right here. You just peel this off and you put it on top right here. Just like so. And what that does is that directs the plant to come up through this area here. So just imagine once it grows up there, it's going to come up here and it will come straight up. So now we got the hydroponic system set up. Not all of them are done, but you can see how we have the little stickers on top. We've also got the little caps on top to cover it, build up that moisture, help it to grow quicker. Now we've got to add nutrients. So let me talk a little bit about that. So remember when I said that the plants, in my experience, tend to do really well because they're getting the nutrients directly? Well, these are two of the nutrients, A and B. You hear that? What you have to do is you have to add water to this. You just simply take this top off, along with this. You pour the water in there with the granulars and you shake it until it is completely dissolved. It should sound like this and not like this. If you hear this, then you know you have not gotten it all dissolved. It should sound like this. Okay, so once you put your water there, this little part right here is actually a measuring cup. Uh-oh. Whoops. That is stuck and I do not know why. But here's the measuring cup. So you simply pour it in there. So I want to get this open because I want to show you guys why or how you do it. You know what? Oh my goodness, guys. I was pulling. I forgot. You just screw this off. So this is one. This is A. Look at this. You simply squeeze it in there based upon how many pods you have. Of course, the more pods you have, the more you're going to fill it up. And then boom, you just pour it into your system. So you've got A and you've got B. I would suggest that you read the booklet that you receive completely through before you do anything. That is the best way to make sure you have a good understanding of how it's going to work. So once that's done, the only thing left to do, guys, is add your seeds. Now, here's a little tip. Many people find it easy, as do I, to use this. These are tweezers. The reason why is because look at the hole. Oh, and I just want to show you this. Okay, I took this pot out, and you see, it's wet. This has soaked up the water, and therefore, it's ready to be used. Now, you got to give it more time. We've only been here a few minutes, but let me just show you this. You see, can you see? This part is wet, this part is not. So make sure you give it enough time so that the sponge is completely saturated with water. That will give you best success. Now, look at this hole in this sponge. Can you see that little hole? See that? That's where the seed has to go. And so if you have big fingers like me, it's challenging to put a seed in there. So what do? We got our trusty, let me see which one. Let's do the, okay, celery. I'm gonna start the celery. I would start the celery in the house and then I would take it from the hydroponic and put it outside. So let me show you how small these seeds are. You see that? Super small. So this is why you use your tweezers to pick up that little seed. To pick up that little seed. I don't think you can see it. Hold on, let me see if I can bring you close. All right, that's better. See? Pick it up. I got a seed in there. I don't know if you guys can see it. And it's gonna go right in there in that sponge. that is how you do it. Once you put your seed in that sponge, then you're going to take that cap, you're going to cover it over, and you're going to wait. And guys, let me tell you, it's not going to take long. Let me put these seeds back in here. It's not going to take long, as I said, for something to sprout. But if it does, be patient. Give it a good 2, in some cases, depending upon what you're growing, 3 weeks to germinate. So if it's some question you have, it's something you don't understand, please feel free to drop that question down there in the box below, and I will be more than happy to answer it. So I hope that you will think about getting a hydroponic system. It's a wonderful tool to have, growing fresh salads. And a lot of people think you just grow lettuce, tomatoes, and herbs. No, it's so much more. You can grow squash, you can grow cucumbers. I say explore and experiment and see what you can grow. I have 5 systems, as I said, ranging from different sizes, and I enjoy them very much. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you are subscribed, then I say gracias. Thank you so much. Be a part of the channel. Help me grow this channel and to help others to learn about growing methods and different things. And there can be an interchange of ideas and thoughts. And so I'd like to hear from you. So please put something in the comment. And listen, as I always say, whatever you're doing, you enjoy it. Go, Salo.